All right. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the program. All right. We are live. Just double checking so I'm not sitting here talking to myself, even though I'm probably sitting here talking to myself. Um, so good moves. Good moves, guys. So, kind of what we hoped would happen, what we talked about on, actually, you know what? I was going to look that up, but I forgot to. On the 8th, let me see what my newsletter said on the 8th. You won't see it on my screen because I don't know whose email I'm going to expose, but let me check my newsletter on the 8th. Yeah, be ready to move. BTC holding pretty well and hopefully pops up out of this consolidation it's been in. It's also low and slow. You just have to hope for the best in these situations and be ready to move. So definitely ready to move. And by the 9th, that's probably my bullish. Yeah, market looking better. We just need the unexpected move up. Um, and that was on this date. Yeah, just before we moved up, as a matter of fact. So we did move up and we got some follow through yesterday. Not a ton, but we did get some. And then at this point, we are really just waiting for continuation. So let's take a look at BTC all-time highs. So we did clear the level. Um, we did clear the level. We talked about maybe this being a Wyckoff top, maybe this looking like the 2021, broader double top scenario, but we moved up instead of down. We got double average volume on the breakout day. So we are in breakout mode. There's really nothing to be super concerned with. Today is a little bit weird, but it is a Saturday. They could be using this as a shakeout generally for the markets. BTC holding up really nice and tight, volume declining nicely. And on the volume aggregation tool, there's just nothing really in terms of selling pressure. You get one pocket pivot on the 2 hour, but that's just because, so much time has elapsed on the 2 hour. On the daily, three pocket pivots. And the way a pocket pivot works is you got to have, 10 days prior. Um, your green day has to be higher than anything 10 days prior of the red days. I said that horribly. So, in other words, this red bar would basically, so this could be a pocket pivot, and it was a pocket pivot. And none of these are pocket pivots because this red candle was much larger than them. So where's your largest red candle? Right here. And that was a while ago. So we could just be flooded with pocket pivots 11 days ago. We could be flooded with pocket pivots if we get anything, kind of right now, anything above average. So we're in a good spot. Um, I don't know if there's a parallel. Hey, what's up, English? I'm not sure if there's a parallel we can really contend with at the moment. I mean, we're hoping right here, possibly. The volume signatures are obviously a little bit different. Um, yeah, you're hoping this is what you're hoping for, early consolidation comparables. That's what you're hoping for. And the only other thing you probably should look at, and Bitcoin is still a fairly new asset, so it's hard to find exact comparables. But the only other thing would be, all-time high failure breakouts, of which we don't really have a ton. Usually Bitcoin hits an all-time high, this is 2017, and it just kind of starts to go, goes there, goes here. Here we do stall. There's the 2021, and we kind of have already cleared that comparable. So our comparable here to a stalling action has already been negated, I think, at least really close to it. So there's that one. Here's, this one, obviously we eclipsed that one. This one, we're I don't think we're fully out of the woods. I think past 120 psychologically will be there. But all in all, I'm hoping we've cleared because we spent a little bit of time up here in 2021 and couldn't get the job done. Little cup and handle over the prior Wyckoff top and pulled right back in. This time we did the opposite. We didn't pull in, we popped out. Still could pull in. It's always a possibility. Volume isn't dramatically amazing. We did get double above average volume, but our average volume is low. I mean, you can zoom out. It's probably the lowest it's ever been. That seems to be a theme with things that people accumulate. Apple stock is a good example. Any excellent asset is a good example, generally, of declining volume because people don't sell it. They'll buy it and hold it for years. They won't even think about it, and they'll pull up the spreadsheet 4 times a year and go through it. But If you look at the average volume, it's just really, really, really low. Can't even really, can't really see it. I guess to go to the weekly, maybe that'll be a little bit easier. It's just real. You get down here, average volume is really low. Down here, average volume is really low. I mean, so does that mean we're in for a big influx of volume? I'd hope so. It'd be nice to think that. It'd be nice to hope that, but I'm not sure if it's really what's going to happen. Now, that being said, I mean, maybe we end up with some hyperinflation situations. I was reading something on, I think it was just on Medium, so take the source for what it's worth, about there's money being printed for the first time in 5 years, which could bring more inflation, which maybe could bring more volume into BTC. So it's hard to say exactly how all these things are going to play out, but I think we're in a good spot. I like it. I like the action. We went low and slow. We had basically a double bottom base right here. Um, so if you're not familiar with the double bottom base, you need an uptrend, and then you make a W like this, and then you break out, and that's your buy point right there. One of those lines. That's your breakout point. And so here's your uptrend. There's your kind of double bottom, and then there's your breakout, right there. Okay. So it's doing what it's supposed to do, and I don't think you can do anything other than take it at its word. You can try to, throw the volume under the bus, and maybe you have a minor argument there, but um, you know, I'm erring on the side of bullishness. The market's showing signals. It's had opportunities to go down. It didn't do it. This is a nice consolidation. This thing's 47 days long. That's nothing to laugh at. And this is a measured move from this move to the top. And so I took it from the bottom and expanded it up. And you had it at about 145, 145.5. If you want to go all the way from here, you're going 98 to 112. You can add that to the top if you want to do a measured move from the top if we can exceed that. So, but we're in a good spot so far. BTC is doing good. Um, ETH, you'll see in a little bit, it's doing really good. Not on all-time highs yet, but ETH hasn't been in all-time highs for a minute. BTC's been in all-time highs, since we broke this 21 high, and that happened definitively over here in November. We've been above that ever since November, consolidated underneath of it, popped up through it. Pretty classical signatures. Declining channel wedge thing, another declining channel wedge thing, a little double bottom base, and then we're off. So I like the signals. Signals are good. I'm not throwing any baby out with any bathwater, and looking pretty good there. Ethereum, not in all-time highs. So we talked about BTC in all-time highs. ETH hasn't hit all-time highs since November 21. So is it dead? I don't know. Don't know if it's dead. It's still the second largest crypto. It's still it's still Ethereum, but it's definitely lost some luster. 100%. Now, it'd be nice if we can clear it. This consolidation, I mean, maybe it goes on for another year. Who knows? I guess that's possible. Take out all the trend lines and such, and you're left with, of course, this isn't the all-time chart. There we go. That's the all-time chart with index chart, right? Consolidation, consolidation, big old cup, and now you have a huge. Sure, some people will call this a cup and handle, um, whatever they want to call it, but yeah, I mean, Ethereum's got a shot to go here. We got to average volume on the weekly, which is pretty darn cool. That's this week. Yeah, we got to average volume on the weekly. So that's pretty good. It'd be nice if things, Ethereum were to short itself up here. I think there's a lot of people with a lot of money in Ethereum, and especially when you look at CoinMarketCap, which I don't really look at much anymore. I mean, no one's really selling this name, but I think one of the problems is no one's really buying this name. It's just kind of there. Now it's done well. 7 days, 16%. XRP came back the past couple days to surpass it. You've got Doge up here. What was it? 16%. So 16, then you got, what else you got for layer ones? 14, 23 for H bar. Not much. Uniswap, which isn't even a layer one. Chronos. I think Kronos is a layer one. So Ethereum kind of taking its leadership position. Not familiar with Athena. That's new to me. Um, and doing what it's supposed to do, kind of showing some leadership. 16% is pretty good. XRP not quite the same layer one as we all know. So I'm hoping Ethereum. So ETH and BTC doing pretty good. I don't think you can really fault them for what they're doing, and I think they're both doing good things. Um, Ideally, though, ETH gets more. Ideally, ETH gets more volume. You get back up here towards the 4,000 level. I think it's possible. One flaw, other than me dragging trend lines around for some reason, is the volume again. It's just a little bit of a flaw here. You got the volume aggregation tool. It doesn't show nearly as much accumulation even as we head down here coming out of these lows. You got this rising channel, which crypto likes to do. Big movement out of it. Not so much out of this. We're not getting the same amount of movement. The only hope you have is it comes in later. And that would be good if we can get some increasing volume instead of just some pops, because you're going to get these pops like this. So you can call that increasing volume if you want to, then it just stalls. And then now you're hoping for increasing volume again and continuing to increase because we've already breached this channel hurdle. We've already kind of proven ourselves up here, and that should bring in some more buyers. At least you'd hope. So ETH's looking pretty good, holding tight, holding fairly tight. I drew this trend line here just to give a bit of a goalpost to this move. There's some other trend lines you can draw down here. Um, there's Pi Method trend lines for even further down on the daily, which right now are drawn like that. So there's some support here, a little bit of room for things to go. Obviously, the more volume and the faster, the better. All right, next it was XRP, which really picked up pace past day and a half, really. So coming out of this trend line, didn't waste any time, broke right through it on this 2 hour here, ended up with a stalling candle yesterday, and we've been consolidating. So that makes some sense. VA tool shows the story. You got the sellers coming back up and pretty much equal right now. It doesn't mean XRP can't go up more, but the whole market has a little bit more feel like this. Fortunately, BTC and Ethereum do not. They don't have nearly as much stalling and selling pressure. And XRP is a little bit symptomatic, I think, of what some coins are looking like that have had some pretty good runs, um, some selling. Yeah. All right, BNB. BNB coming up here, almost double topping. Actually, it is a double top. Double topping right there. Is this a cup and handle? Possibly. It's like head and shoulders or measured move. Worked on that one. Um, get rid of some of these lines now. There we go. So we had BNB with a wedge here. Broke up from the wedge, pulling back in. A little bit of selling pressure. There's some support here on this line. That's a pretty good line. But it's a pretty vertical line also. So the double top. Um, BNB showing positivity is good. Again, volume low. Solana. Solana chopping it up, not taking that leadership position, although you do get the same stalling candle that XRP had and some downward momentum today. And volume isn't as low as it generally should be for a Saturday. And Solana not leading, not really doing much. Um, Interesting to me, but I really wish Solana would be looking better. Um, Hey, what's up, man? I really do think, SCI is looking better. There's some other ones that are looking a little better. Solana, I just, is this done now? I don't know. Maybe ETH, maybe they're buying ETH over Solana. Maybe people are already heavy in Solana, no one left to buy. And so you got ETH, which still has less people to buy. Yeah, ADA is coming up real soon, bud. So Ethereum, less people to buy, but it hasn't been bought. Where Solana's been bought a lot for the past couple of years, so maybe this is an overcrowded trade and Ethereum is getting the love. Maybe. Uh, Doge, a lot of things moved up yesterday, but you ended up with several stalling candles and a lot of names. Here's another one rolling over right now. Uh, we're going to see a lot of this. I mean, you get in these low choppy situations. These can go for a while. With BTC an all-time high, you kind of hope that more is going to go vertical. but nothing is guaranteed. You just kind of have to take each trade as its own little snowflake. Um, but you take something like Doge, it is well underneath prior highs, and you start to see some stalling. Seems a little bit more ominous. Tron, Tron's been doing pretty good. Still working on this very large cup. Is it going to break out of this very large cup? I don't know. It's been kind of a low and slow trade. We've been discussing this now for years, coming out of this trend line. I remember coming out of this and it was kind of low and slow, and it's still low and slow. It's just up 500% over 2 years. Yeah, over 2 years. But I mean, a steady trend. I still don't even fully know what's going on with Tron. I guess it's a real boy again though, and yeah, doing the right things. Just one of those holds that you get lucky if you bought it, and if you're really patient. I mean, a lot of people can't do 500% in a couple of years. You know, yeah, can be difficult. Cardano, here you go. Yeah, Cardano stalled at its declining trend line. Pretty much was what I picked on it this morning for. It did make the newsletter due to that fact. Big stalling candle yesterday, and those big selling candles did come in. VA tool on the 2 hour doesn't look bad though. The selling pressure not as dynamic as the buying pressure. Hopefully, and the more coins that do this, the better. We can get out of these consolidations and start in the uptrend. Cardano moving really good right now. Um, Consolidating on the 2 hour. Ideally, that goes lower and slower and eventually curls up without testing anything down here. Ideally, it doesn't come back. This is probably the prior high that is likely to test. It could even come back down and test this one. Comes in down and tests these levels. Uh, would not be the best thing. Ideally, it holds up. You don't have a ton of selling pressure, and then eventually the buyers kick back in. VA tool on this one. I mean, and some time has elapsed, right? This was over 24 hours ago. So some time has elapsed here, and the sellers are still around, still getting a little bit of momentum. But if the buyers kick back in, Cardano's good. So all in all, um, again, who's heavy and what, who's accumulated what. Cardano came back pretty good the past 48 hours, minus the past 24 hours. So good little move there. Hopefully, hopefully it's pretty solid from here. But if we do start pulling it all the way back down to there, things are just going to take longer. And if it gets past that, then you're back into chop. And you don't want that. Once you get distance from levels, you don't want to revisit those levels. And this is a good example of that. Just even the last time it hit the trend line, you go vertical, consolidates a little bit. There's nothing really too wrong about this. You can, Monday morning quarterback. Yeah, it's a little choppy. Notice how this is tight and this is not. So it's a little wide and loose. That does indicate distribution. But anyway, regardless if you gave that a pass and gave it an opportunity, at some point you have to kind of know when to cut it. Here's a rejection at the trend line again. Tries to go up, can't do it. That's a big red flag, especially the second time. And here you've already given it 3 weeks. You're like, okay, I've given it 3 weeks. It hasn't moved up. It rejected the high. You got to be thinking about getting out here before it comes back and retests, and then it just goes all the way back down. And then you can think about getting back in here as it does the opposite. Comes back, retests, fails to go down, right? Comes down, retests low, fails to go down, consolidates and breaks out. So there's like a decent level. So you're looking at these price actions, you're looking at the rejections, and we have one rejection. Yeah, we can go sideways for a bit, but ideally it stays tighter like this, less like this, and then we can curl up. Answer your question there? All right, next up is new one, hype. Getting a little bit of hype, a little bit of volume. Hasn't fully taken over. There's the all-time high. Hasn't really gone over that quite yet. Spent a little bit of time up there, but unable to really get past that. We end up with the stalling candle yesterday. And VA2 looking okay. This thing could pull in and then continue. Um, Hype is in an area where it could try to go. It just needs to go. Now it just needs to go. So little pull in, not a problem. It's come down towards where support came in yesterday. If you're lucky, it comes in there at this level today. But we did just reject the highs again. So if the buyers are getting a little lazy, maybe they're going to the beach today, then yeah, all of them are going to the beach today together in the same car. Um, maybe it'll pull in a little bit more. Sui. Sui with a great day a couple days ago. Yesterday, stalling on Sui. Good move up though. VA tool, not bad. It's not great. The sellers obviously did step in a little bit. The buyers just basically waited away. Um, and here the buyers waited away, and we consolidated for a week, and then had a rally with the rest of the market. So maybe we do something like that again. Consolidate for a little bit before we pop up, and Sui in this broader uptrend, could get going. It's a newer name to crypto. Had a couple good runs, but it doesn't look like it's fully done yet. So I do think you give Sui the benefit of the doubt. Looking good. So things start to get weird, choppy, and looking like they're pulling in kind of from here on out, except for except for XLM, although it has its own issues. And and this type of action, which we've already seen before, it's not like it's new, but um, a lot of the alts had this look to it where they were doing good coming out, not a lot of volume, and kind of underneath some highs. So still consolidating a lot of move while you got BTC in highs. So it's one of those dynamics. But Chainlink pulling in a little bit here, VA tool tells a pretty good story. Sellers aren't fully gone away, and the buyers are haven't fully stepped in. AVAX. AVAX above the trend line. Here's one that you hope holds up here. Doesn't pull back into the trend line. It could. It wouldn't be a super deal breaker. We're not even that far away, but ideally, again, one below a high over here. Maybe this just chops for a long time. It doesn't do anything spectacular. We're hoping for a big move up. If we don't get it in the next week, if we're not really tight in BTC and Ethereum and some other ones, then we're probably just going to chop around a little bit more. And maybe we'll all just look like Leo, which is doing nothing. XLM. So I'm actually not sure why this has gotten so much movement. Some stalling yesterday, but it's been up here. It's been unable to drop. It probably will at some point. The VA tool flipped, as a matter of fact, higher than all of that buying pressure. But the buying pressure, not like that wasn't real. This is a huge, huge move. Just crossing the trend line here, you're still up 54%, as much as 66% for a top 20 token. Pretty impressive. And you're hoping we go on further runs, kind of like we did over here. So I don't know. Is this all a preamble for this was all Trump stuff based on XRP? So is it going to be stuff based on that? I don't know. But even today, for this to be up 7% as we're chopping in these highs is pretty impressive. I got to say. So, you know, showed it early on, but, really in the middle of yesterday, you're like, man, this thing actually has legs. It's not just a one off because it could have been a one off. You pop up here, that could have been a one off, but then it forms a beautiful flag and then just keeps on going. So you got to believe the signals, sometimes even ignoring the name because Stellar Lumens isn't necessarily the best one. All right, Bitcoin Cash pulling in. Slightly higher high here. RSI divergence. You can just tell. You don't even have to look at the RSI. I said that before I looked at the RSI. It just looks like a divergence between these 2 points. And it is. So getting close to the high here. Not really participating much in the rally, unfortunately. Looking a little lazy. Toncoin choppy, also did not really participate in the rally. Shiba Swap did participate in the rally. Selling pressure was with it earlier on. VA Tool tells that story. All in all, not too bad, but also not too good. H bar. This one you have a little bit more hope for. We're closer to this high. We did just kind of stall there. Um, yeah, Bitcoin Cash, yeah, somebody. I'm not fully sure who either, but they still get it. And they've been picking at it actually. If you look at Bitcoin Cash, they've been picking at that name. I mean, it's not an accident it's up here. I mean, I guess it could be, but a lot of altcoins falter during the same time period. Bitcoin Cash, not so much. It's been able to buck the trend and continue in a solid uptrend now for a while. The bottom down here in April. So I don't think there's too much to win Lambo. Well, I'm hoping. I mean, I'm hoping we're in the middle of Lambo. You know, that's what you're hoping. I mean, the other thing too is that to really get a Lambo, you have to be positioned correctly. Um, so I'm actually not positioned completely correctly. You know what I mean? I was heavier. Sorry guys, I'm tired today. I was heavier in Ethereum, and then I kind of chickened out a little bit. But Ethereum would have my position that I got into is up good percentage wise, but I didn't keep my large position, so I chickened out a little bit. So not really, not really Lambo for me, unfortunately. BNB or lower market cap better for small allocation. What, ETH? I'm not riding ETH down to zero. ETH is holding strong, my friend. ETH is holding pretty good. I'm hoping we can rally this back up towards that 4,000 level in this burst right here. So, um, oh, if you're referring to Bitcoin Cash, yeah, I haven't bought any Bitcoin Cash. I don't think yeah, I don't think much about it. It's a good network though. That's the other thing with some of these names, all these BTC names. Yeah. Yeah, no, definitely going to sell. Definitely going to sell when the selling's good. Hopefully, all you can do is hope that you're there in the moment to get the right sell. And most of my positions are actually in the stock market. They're not in crypto because I'm in the US and it's kind of pain in the ass to trade crypto in the US anymore. So I just kind of trade the derivatives in the stock market and it is what it is. But um, we're hoping we're still in the early stages of a rally. And even Bitcoin Cash eventually will participate from that. We start breaking this channel, actually could look pretty good. But yeah, back to Shiba Swap. So these are the ones to be, I think, a little bit nervous about. Shiba Swap, obviously it's a meme coin. Doesn't really, I guess it does have a functional component to it now, but um, one good thing about it, I will say, is it came back down here and held, so I think that's pretty good. Yeah, man, story as old as time. When you get in those situations, and I've been there multiple times, um, kind of had my own stint with that this year, but I was able to trade my way out of it. When you do that, when you're at that 60K, you got to have a level where you're just done because what ends up happening is that and everyone's different, everyone's in a different place in their trading journey, but generally what ends up happening is you take that 10, 20x, whatever it is, and you end up getting a big ego, you ignore your own signals and then you turn 60K back into 4. Um, but the good thing is you can do it. And I mean, once you do it once, you can do it again. And it does take time, and it kind of sucks to give up that time, but we're all human. We all make mistakes, and you just kind of have to give yourself that grace. And I think one of the things that some people have a hard time, because some people never get it back, right? And I think psychologically, you need to be strong psychologically because you have to trust yourself that I did it once, I can do it again. Not I blew it once, I'm going to blow it again. Does that make sense? You have to flip that script. Okay? Yeah, you blew it. That's okay. But guess what? You did it. It's like dunking. It's like if you're able to dunk a basketball once, you're like, oh crap, I can dunk a basketball. And then you miss and you miss and you miss and you miss. You're going to keep trying to dunk the basketball because you know that you dunked it. Some people will take that miss as a sign to never try again. Some people will take the make as a sign they can do it forever. And as traders, you have to take it as once you do it, you can do it forever. And your strategy may shift a little bit, but you can do it. You can do it. You got the skill set. You just have to figure out how you did it. Now, if it was all dumb luck, maybe that's not duplicatable. But if it wasn't dumb luck and you were making conscious decisions, and then you have to keep that frame of reference, keep that mindset, and you have to move forward from there. That's the only way to make it. That's the only way. Um, yeah. So I mean, I've been on both sides of that coin. Cheyenne is a good example. Of course, he's living in a place right now that's being attacked. So I don't know if he's able to participate in this BTC rally. He was talking a lot about stuff, but he made a lot of money and so far has been unable to make a lot of it back. I hope he's doing good in his prop trading though, if he's still doing that. So, but yeah, so psychologically, you have to believe in yourself. Otherwise, what the fuck are you doing here? And you have to be able to pull it out. So yeah, it's great you did that. Um, just know that you did that. Forget being at 4K again. How many times well, what did, yeah. Well, I guess I blew accounts. I went further. I turned 20K into nothing, 20K into nothing, 20K into nothing. I guess, and then I took 12K to, well, now a lot more than that, but I ended up at 600, then back down to 100. Not quite the same thing, but I had a fight with myself to stop at 100,000. You know, 2017, 18. Well, was it dumb luck then? Because that's what you have to ask yourself. You have to be like, was it dumb luck or is it actually skill, right? Because you could dumb luck yourself into anything in 2017, 2018. The question is, was it luck or skill? And then, well, I mean, if it was holding, like if held BTC from 5,000 to 60K back to 5,000, that's not really trading. That's just kind of being a passenger, I guess. You're in the back seat for that one. You can't even grab the steering wheel without freaking a lot of people out. Um, well, being realistic about that, I think, is important. And there's no shame if it was luck. It's just is what it is, and you just gotta, try to work towards a skill set. Or even if it's not a skill set, I mean, there's a little bit of skill set involved, but yeah, I walked it back down. Yeah, so that's a little bit backseat driving. A little bit backseat driving. And sometimes better being lucky than good. It Well, if you did it in a number of circumstances, obviously 2017 is a whole different story, but try to duplicate those circumstances. Try to duplicate, are they new tokens? Were they layer ones? Did you find them from a community? You got to try to find certain things that parallel you back to that luck. Is really what it is. You got to parallel yourself back to luck. Um, because luck is just experience plus opportunity. And so in 2017 there was a lot of opportunity. Didn't have a lot of experience. Now you have a lot of experience. Now you got to go put yourself where you can find the opportunities. So it's a little bit of a flip side of the same coin, right? Not a bad thing, just a different thing. So I think all that stuff's important. Um, yeah, patience is a big one. If you see some success like that, you know how quick it can come. But most traders, most successful traders, and there's always exceptions, right? And the ones that are exceptional or liars are the ones that you find on social media. Um, Odds are if someone's in their 40s and they're successful, they've been doing it a long time. If someone's successful in their 20s, maybe early 30s, you can look at them as just having one of those minds that works well in this market environment. And those people exist. But most of us aren't those people. Most of us are going to take the lower, slower route. And it's like a 20-year overnight success. You know what I mean? Like when I finally made a bunch of money a year or two ago now, is 20-year overnight success. It's just the little things that get you over the hump. Little bit over, little bit over, little bit over, little bit over, little bit over. It, it's even like professional athletes. When you look at a professional athlete, and you look at the difference between like a Michael Jordan and a Kobe Bryant, or LeBron James and a Kobe Bryant, or pick your poison. The or let's just even say Michael Jordan and Reggie Miller. Okay, let's just take both of those people. both amazing basketball players, both Hall of Famers. Just take any Hall of Famer. Like, what's the difference? First of all, we're okay being Reggie Miller. Let's face it, we're not Michael Jordan. We got to be okay being Reggie Miller, and there's nothing wrong with being Reggie Miller. He's a great guy. He's no longer on TNT because TNT don't exist anymore for the NBA. But he's an amazing basketball player. Got plenty of money, plenty of happiness. You know, Michael Jordan's a tortured soul, which is why he's so fucking great. He's just a tortured soul. But you got to be okay being the 12th guy on the bench making millions. You know what I mean? So we don't need to be the best. We need to be able to do good enough. And all of those guys, I kind of went deep with that weird basketball analogy, but they all practice. The differences between them are minute. They all they all do similar things on the basketball court. If you take Reggie Miller scored like 12 points in 3 seconds or some shit like that. Like Larry Bird and Reggie Miller, both of those guys very famous for put in, in a playoff game or whatever game Reggie Miller's was, they put they put buckets in the basket in a very short period of time. But that's after so much work and just the opportunity being there. You know what I mean? Yeah, English, overnight success, 10 years in the making. Absolutely. But it's those minor things that you somehow stumble upon in year 12. Whatever it is. You know what I mean? Like you somehow stumble upon what makes you brilliant in this situation. And Jeremy Lin's a good example, right? I'm I'm a basketball fan, obviously. So Jeremy Lin's a good example. The dude was brilliant for like half a season, and then no one heard from him again. But he made so much in that half a season, it's okay that he was never brilliant again. Like his contract. Actually, I'm kind of curious. Jeremy Lin contract. I'm kind of curious what his money looked like before and after Linsanity. So you've got, I thought he was with the Knicks. I thought Linsanity was when he was with the Knicks. Anyway, so he went from, is this the same Jeremy Lin? Looks, yeah, from Harvard. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, he got one good pay. Yeah, look at that. Guaranteed a signing, 38 million. So whenever it was, um, when was Linsanity? 12 sounds about right. I don't know where. But yeah, he got his payday, right? He got his payday. And that's so, I mean, stocks are kind of the same way. So stock, trading's kind of the same way. Like I've actually had several amazing runs, kind of astonishing, and I'm scared to trade the kind of money I'm trading right now, to be honest. Um, I don't know if I'm scared. I'm a little scared, but I wish it was these kind. That'd be a good number to trade at, 25 mil. Yeah, put it all in Bitcoin. Yeah, that's fun. I was thinking about, Bitcoin. Bitcoin's a lot of people have. I was listening. I tend to listen to some YouTube videos before I go to bed. It's kind of like TV, but not. I don't know if it's good or bad, but anyway. So Plan B has. Hope my mic doesn't screw up with me moving it real quick here. I can't type. I put my mic right in front of my computer because I don't have my. I moved. I don't have the same setup. This is a temporary place, and I don't have a good place to put the mic. Anyway, Plan B, Bitcoin chart. I think Plan B has crypto going to like hundreds of thousands on 25, 26. But then past this, it has it going to like 10 million or something crazy like that in 28, 29. I'm like, if we're gonna, 10 or 100x after that, and it takes 10 years, I mean, come on, man, come on. Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's one of those, just one of those things. 2 months ago? Yeah. So there's the 10 million. So I think that's 3 million actually. If you look at his log lines here, I think that's 3 million. Yeah, 2028 to about 2030. That's only 5 years away to get to 3 million from 120,000. So, let's just say you have enough for one Bitcoin, which right now just call it 120,000. I don't need the calculator for this. And then it gets to 3 million. That's pretty dope. You know what I mean? 3 million divided by 120,000 is 25x. So if the thing does 25x in the next 5 years, if that's a thing, so what's 25x from 120,000? So 4,800. So last time BTC was 4,800 would have been the last time it 25x'd. So 2020, that's 5 years. And then prior to that, 2019. So that's a 25x, give or take, whatever you want to call it. That's a 25x right there. You know? So you want to put it all in BTC, multiply what you got by 25, and if you're lucky, better to be lucky than good. Bitcoin isn't to trade as a savings account, decreasing gains, but more safe guaranteed over time. Some people are going to lose a lot of money after BTC crashes from 1, 2, 3 million. I don't know, man. Um, I don't know. It's a weird dynamic. I will fully admit that, but if here's the other thing. If we go hyperinflation in the US, which um I don't like Trump. He's fucking retarded, but he didn't do us any favors. You know, the one, even Trump in 2016, the one thing that I was hoping he was going to do was like take care of the debt, and he just exacerbated it. He didn't take care of it. He did the same thing every other politician does. Whatever the fuck they want to do, right? He didn't take care of it. And then he brought Elon in, and I am an Elon fan. I've always been an Elon fan. I think he's gotten a little weird. That's okay. People can get weird. Um, he came in, tried to do his best, and then Trump did this big old beautiful bill, and now even Elon doesn't like it. And you saw the whole bromance die between Elon and Trump, which was weird to begin with. But even Elon's like, this is fucking stupid. You're a fucking idiot. I don't even know why he did this whole thing. And even if his government efficiency thing didn't do something, I mean, whatever. He tried something. Maybe it worked. Maybe it didn't. Not like we'll ever get any real data out of it. But anyway, hyperinflation's coming. Maybe they won't. Maybe the people will be diving into BTC, and this thing will hit 10 million. And then we'll be looking for Chinese, whatever it's called, anyways. We'll be looking for that Chinese, good old Chinese currency. Who knows? Look, Elon got a little crazy. Elon got a little, but look, I'm not just gonna flip on somebody, okay? If he's on the influence of drugs, he's on the influence of drugs, and that needs to stop. Full stop. Okay, 100%. He definitely was going off the rails there for a bit. His whole Twitter buy, his whole free speech buy. Maybe he's getting. I mean, he's not that old, but maybe he's getting a little senile. Um, I do believe. Everyone does what they think is right. I don't know what Trump's brain does. I don't know if he does what he thinks is right. I don't know how that dude's brain works. I just don't see the correlations. And I look for them too. I try to understand people um to try to get to the core. Like I think Elon's, 'cause he's got his issues. His family life was fucked up. His dad's a huge douchebag. That's going to damage him. But he's done the things he's done a lot of good things, done a lot of not everyone can do everything good, you know? I mean, if I could go and run a Department of Government Efficiency, wouldn't you? I think everybody would. Maybe he ingratiated himself on some contracts. Who the fuck doesn't? I don't know. Anyway, um, but yeah, so if you got a 5-year time horizon, if you can 25x in 5 years from here, if it's possible. If you don't get a bear market, obviously it's better to invest in the if you're gonna treat it like a savings account. It's better to kind of get it when it's lower. But BTC seems to have reached an equilibrium. We haven't really had a lot of those big spikes down um, in quite some time. 2022 in this time frame, but the only time we're probably going to spike down, because I do think we are kind of highly correlated to the stock market a lot more than we used to be, because the powers that be have liquidity in cryptocurrency, and they have to use all of their liquidity when they have events like this was stock market. I'm sure if I were to add the SPY to this, well, shoot, that's going to screw it up. See if I can zoom in. Yeah. How can I make these comparable? Well, anyway, so I think there's a downtrend in crypto. I think this is a downtrend in the markets. It's very, it's slight on this scale, but yeah, there you go. That's a little bit better. So you could see they do correlate. It's not that they don't correlate anymore. They do correlate nowadays. There's where correlation for me really got going. A little bit of correlation right there. So they are in our more traditional financial, ecosystem now. Before they weren't. Now they are some for sure, for sure. And in that case, look at that, Bitcoin kind of lagging the S&P a little bit. So, but yeah, if you're a big believer in BTC, I mean, say you want to put 50% of your net worth into BTC. I mean, is that going to be the end of the world? It's going to suck if it drops and you're not able to sell it or you don't want to sell it. But I do think that crypto is still an amazing value tool. As more people get into it, and they'll just keep depositing more money into it. It'll benefit from hyperinflation. The claimed dollar stablecoin can help continue dollar dominance. I don't know. I don't know about all that. That's a dynamic that's never been tested. That's a dynamic that is a hypothetical only. Um, and I don't know who they are. The only time I'd ever listen to they would be if the Federal Reserve was talking. To be quite honest with you, because I mean the Fed's a separate entity. You know, no one's happy with anybody, but I think the Fed's done a pretty decent job. All right, let's finish out this top 20 real quick. So we got to, where did we get to? I'm not fully sure. H bar is not in a real bad spot. Same distribution yesterday as the rest of the market. Still consolidating, nothing too crazy right there. Litecoin definitely stalled out yesterday. VA2 also not in a bad spot. I'm hoping we just consolidate and pull back. There's a kind of a cup and handle, actually. There's a handle. Pulling back right to that. That could be support. Ideally it is, and we can continue moving up. Litecoin kind of almost within striking distance of this high. Getting there. Oh, Trump's people said that? Don't trust them for shit. Those those people are stupid. They are just stupid, all of them. I can't you can't trust anything that comes out of any mouth of this administration. None of it. All they do is make excuses. And it's not even excuses. It used to be that you could kind of see through the political speak a little bit, because they would always support their guy, and I get that. But what these people are doing, man, it's dictatorship like. I hate to say that. I just hate to say that. Hyper Bitcoinization. Yeah, there you go. I mean, hyper Bitcoinization. Not mad at it. But it's a volatile ride, right? It's going to be a volatile ride. I don't think there's a question about that. You just have to be ready for that and have to be able to, ride it out. I think 100%. You have to be able to take that and run with it. And, well, just let it go more than run with it. All right, DOT, bunch of garbage here. I don't like DOT. It's just, for years now, it's just never done anything good. Yeah, it's gonna have a pop or two, but I think if you focus on it, um, unless you really like it for whatever reason, if you don't care for it, then I wouldn't even freaking look at it. Monero's looking pretty good, kind of on the upswing here a little bit. It was getting choppy. Maybe it'll try to curl back up. Um, there's still a bunch of big wars going on, so Monero will benefit from that. It's just hard to buy it. And then Pepe rounds out the top 20. Doesn't look bad. Selling pressure is pretty anemic here. Buying pressure uh, is okay. All right, let me check on my newsletter and the coins I had. Um, yeah, KNC. Anybody know what happened to KNC today? So it's down a little bit, but just today it popped tremendously. Look at that. That is a huge up move, 82% as of the moment. Stalling right there. I don't know what's going on here, but that's an absolute gargantuan amount of volume. Let's look at coin market cap, see if KNC number 326. Get out of here. No way. Up 77%. Okay. Hold on a second. Hold on a second. So surge 77% in 24 hours due to liquidity campaign launch. I don't even know what that means. What's a liquidity campaign launch? Arbitrum trading campaign launch on July 8th distributes weekly to users trading via Kyber swap. Traders earn 10x points for oh, incentivizing volume surges. So someone just tried to get all those rewards, and I guess I hope it worked for them. Yeah, it's gonna be hard to figure that part out, I think. Yeah. And then SEI still staying on the SEI train, trying to follow through on this name as it goes through its motions. Here's an up and coming layer one. Um, pretty much did so far. It's kind of done everything you've asked it to do. So pulling in a little bit here. I don't like the undercut of that, but we did bounce back. So hopefully that's an undercut and rally and we can stabilize out. All in all, I think the market's in a pretty good spot. Um, ideally these consolidations this weekend don't go very far. And as we turn into the week, I hope they don't last very long and we can continue moving up. We're not getting massive volumes, we're getting good volume. They just need to stay a little bit more consistent. And then hopefully one time we'll have a follow through day. Speaking of which, we have 0 distribution days. There's our follow through day. We had one distribution day here which expired, and so we're in the clear in terms of bullish everything. I mean, really bullish everything right now is on the table. So the market looks good. I don't wanna, I don't wanna, I don't want to throw the baby out with the bathwater type of a thing. There's no bathwater here yet either. Some of the alts are looking a little bit worse, but BTC is looking solid. ETH's looking solid. Not too much is though. I wish we didn't have these pullbacks today. And by the end of the weekend, if we pop back up again, then these will just be them trying to scare people in the markets on the weekends. Is probably and hopefully all it's going to turn into. So, all right, guys, that's all I got. That's all I got. 93K. What gap at 93K? No gap at 93K. Oh, CME gap. We're gonna go, James. We're gonna go to the house. Why don't you get dressed? Is that That's your Talking to my son. He's holding, he wrote on a piece of paper holding it up, so asking me things. That's funny. Yeah, you too, English. Yeah, have a good day, bud. Yeah, I don't care about gaps. 93, this one. Yeah, holding a gap's a good thing. Gap hold right there. Gap hold right there. So, yeah, bar market will make sure everything gets filled. But yeah, I'm hoping low and slow from here, hoping things stay good, and that's all I got. That's all I got, guys. Manage your risk, um, and go out there and get lucky. Have a great day, guys. Stay safe.